Hello, everyone. I'm here to give you a bit of an update about a story that we just published on Tagat about the visit by the delegation from the Ethiopian Orthodox Church to Mekelle, to Tigray today. So maybe I think I should give you a bit of a context because maybe some of you don't really know the ins and outs of what is happening between the Ethiopian Orthodox Church and the Tigrayan Church. So the Ethiopian Orthodox Church has been on the side of the Ethiopian and the Eritrean regimes for the past 3 years, when both the Ethiopian and the Eritrean regimes were committing genocide in Tigray. There's a lot of story even from before the war, but I'm not going to go there now. But starting from the war, starting from the day when Abiy Ahmed invaded Tigray with the assistance of Eritrea, the Ethiopian Church stood in solidarity with Abiy Ahmed and with his extremely barbaric army, the army that every one of you will know has committed the most horrendous crimes in Tigray, from rape to mass murder to indiscriminate shelling to killing of children to starvation, forced starvation, to every other crime that you could name. And the Ethiopian Orthodox Church provided moral support, financial support, and logistical support. Some of the priests went all the way to the battlefields to provide some sort of logistical support, from feeding troops to relaying arms and all sorts of dirty things. And some of the bishops, archbishops in the church, said of Tigray very, very poisonous and nasty stuff. One of the archbishops, a very, very high ranking, I think the secretary of the synod, his name is Aune Petros. He once said that he would squeeze, or he said that if he had any Tigrayan blood in his body, he would cleanse himself of the Tigrayan blood. He would squeeze the blood out with a syringe. Literally said that. That is how much hatred of Tigrayans was normalized, even among the upper echelons of the church. And at another time, he said that all the crimes that have been credibly reported about all the crimes committed in Tigray, rape and destruction and looting and plunder and displacement and all other things, he said that everything is fake, that the Tigrayans were lying, that nothing of that sort happened in Tigray. Now, a top priest of the church, an archbishop, actually secretary of the synod, denying something that everybody could see with their naked eyes. And he was one of the delegates today. That is the level of disrespect that the Ethiopian church has towards Tigray. And some other bishops have said other nasty things. One of them, I think, is the Archbishop of Bahar Dar or Amhara, said that he would prefer the devil to the Tigrayans. Well, to be fair to him, he said the TPLF, but we know when they say the TPLF, they actually mean the Tigrayans. And although that wasn't enough, they muzzled the patriarch from speaking out, because he wanted to speak out. He wanted to condemn the Ethiopian and Eritrean regimes for what they had clearly done, because it was clearly reported what they had done. but he couldn't find a way to speak because he was banned. He was muzzled by operatives of the regime. Security officers would go to his residence and tell him that if he spoke, his life would be in danger. But he's such a brave man. He found a way to sneak out a video. So he recorded himself speaking. Well, he spoke to an American acquaintance, and he knew that the American acquaintance was going to go with the video to the US and post it. And in that video, he condemned the regimes. He forcefully spoke out against war, and he said that what Ethiopia and Eritrea were doing in Tigray was unprecedented and unspeakable. The level of cruelty was beyond description. He described the situation as it was. And following his condemnation, the Ethiopian church condemned him. They shunned him, they condemned him, they degraded him, they defamed him, they insulted him. All sorts of insults were thrown at him for speaking something that they knew to be true, for speaking out about something that they deliberately hid. So that is the side from the Ethiopian church point of view. And of course, as you would expect, the Tigrayan church, the Tigrayan archbishop said that we are going to go our own way. We're going to sever any sort of relationship we had with the Ethiopian church. And that didn't sit well with the Ethiopian church, of course, not least because Tigray, number one, the Ark of the Covenant, around which the Ethiopian church is built, is found in Tigray, in Aksum. And without the Ark of the Covenant, the Ethiopian church is one huge vacuum. It would be nothing. So they know that they can't continue to be a church without Tigray in it. And also Tigray is the giver, the progenitor of Christianity to Ethiopia. So they can't let go of Tigray for those reasons alone. Even though from the things that I told you, we know that the Ethiopian church doesn't have even the slightest of regard for the people, but for practical reasons, they couldn't let the Tigray church go its own way. And so the reason they sent delegates today to Tigray was to try to seek out reconciliation with the Tigrayan church leaders. But the Tigrayan church leaders were very, very categorical in their rejection of the Ethiopian church. They said that they would meet with the Ethiopian church delegates only if they apologized properly. Not the kind of apology that the Ethiopian church leaders gave a couple of days ago actually, where they pretended to apologize without acknowledging the thing that they have done, the support for the war, and the nasty and the hateful and the poisonous and pernicious thing that its bishop said. Without acknowledging, they gave something that on the surface looks like an apology, but actually isn't. And the Tigray leaders, of course, are smart enough to know what the Ethiopian church were doing, what game they were trying to play. So they said that they were not going to meet them in Mekelle unless they properly apologize. But the Ethiopian church leaders didn't apologize. They just, stubbornly and arrogantly went to Mekelle, expecting that they would be met with by the Tigray church leaders. But of course, that didn't happen. So they had to contend with meeting the Tigray president and other political officials. And to their credit, actually, to his credit, Getachew Reda, the president of Tigray, told them exactly what the Ethiopian, what the Tigrayan church leaders told him what their misgivings are, why they are deeply hurt, why the Tigray people are deeply hurt, why a proper apology is long overdue from the Ethiopian church, and why they didn't want to meet them today, not out of disrespect or anything of that nature, but because they want them to apologize for what they have done and said. So they didn't meet the Tigrayan church leaders. Some of you will maybe see that some people from Amhara corners are trying to spin the story, but what happened is exactly what I told you. Getachew told them that they should understand the magnitude of the hurt and damage that they caused, that the Ethiopian church caused, and they should offer apology commensurate with that level of damage. So we have Gabriel Christos, Tugat editor, has summarized the story about the cold reception that they received, about the donation that the Ethiopian church pretended to give to Tigray, 20 million Ethiopian birr. I think that comes around to 200,000 USD dollars. Nothing, peanuts really, especially when you take into account the amount of stuff that the church has looted from Tigray, from manuscripts to other church items, to I think to church garments. Some of them put up for sale on eBay actually. So they looted stuff in the hundreds of millions, and now they are pretending to give 20 million Ethiopian birr in support for Tigray. Part of the trick, part of the gimmick that they are trying to play on the Tigray people. But of course, everybody has waken up to them, so they're not fooling anyone. And also, the Ethiopian church leaders went to a detention, IDP, internally displaced people center, and the people there, the people in the IDP, told the church leaders exactly what they did and said. So, for instance, they are holding a banner that said that what have darkness and lightness have in common. The darkness being the Ethiopian church, and of course the light being the Tigray church. Not to be self-righteous or not to be exceptionalism, but in this battle, the Tigrayan church is the same. It's the light, and here they say that the people say we stand in solidarity with the Tigrayan church, because the Tigrayan church leaders are under enormous pressure to fold, to make amends with the Ethiopian church, when they have in fact made their position very, very clear. And everybody, any sensible person, has to actually have an enormous amount of sympathy for the Tigray church leaders. Any sensible person in their position would do exactly what they have done. And this is a post by a prominent Tigrayan politician from the Tigray Independent Party, Mahari. He's just pointing out the irony in the Ethiopian church purporting to offer support of 20 million Ethiopian birr, when in fact they know that they had stolen way more than that. So please try to read the story that Gabriel Christos has written if you have time. But also, so I will now speak in Tigrinya, because the next story is in Tigrinya. So if you don't speak Tigrinya, that was that. Until I see you next time. Bye bye. Now the ታናይ ትግርኛ እዚኣ بتعمي بزح جزيو سيدنا ز سرحنا يا صوصاويا تجارو أرثوذكساويان نمنتاي بيتك كانت أرثوذكس هادو إثيوبيان قوم زبل سخيلو نايس معيت نجار تيكونه بدن بي أفزغور نساتهم استمسرت تاريخهم مصاصا أنت أيام غير مازل بتعم بزح جزيرو وسده بتعم دما صبوق تجرينيا استصحافه سند أدلنا لكم لنا تري والله نوحيو دارجا مصحف بلوه كتنبو ومو كتردوه اللابو حسابت لكم توسخ كتصحفوا تدليت ون نافتقات كتصحف لنا دلي زاجن بتعم نوح صحفيو كله بقى كله كوي بهالنجار كله تم إثيوبيا نبرع لنا زوصحوا مكرا جن بزح قوم نجار زحزت صحفتي أزياء أفتا تقات تقرينيا تلقاتهم نحرقهما كترخواهم كتنبوا وابدن بي معدكم زيني النيرن سلام